Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Message Center announcements for August 12th, 2024. My name is Don Donay, and I'm going to be taking you through the updates from last month into this month that you should be aware of what's going on. First, we're going to start on the SharePoint side of things. There's going to be some changes wrapped around the new templates that are out there, and how you access it and how you find them through category. So starting here in mid-August for targeted, and then worldwide late August into September, you're going to see some changes on that new templates area. And specifically what you're going to see is around news pages, the ability to be able to see very easily which ones are mail enabled by default, right? So clicking on that option, getting it all set up, and then being able to send it out as an email, that type of a category. But there's other categories in there. That one's the one we're really focused on for this particular update. So just make sure you're noticing and letting your users know about this major change happening on the SharePoint news pages side of things. Around Microsoft lists, we have the ability to do drag and drop feature. And literally, you can take an item that's maybe in that list, move it up, move it down, whatever you need to do, or you can take multiple items, selecting them and then moving them up around in that list to make it easier to be able to see information in the way that you want it. That's coming out here, targeted early August to mid-August. And then worldwide, we're talking late August to early October for that to happen. Again, another need to know for those end users who are using that feature. Let's jump on to the iOS and Android side, so mobile device specifically for Outlook. And what you're seeing with this particular update that's happening here is that you're going to be able to actually choose what font you want to use when you're writing your emails or in your signature, automatic replies, or even those calendar invitations if you want to write them out on your mobile device. It is part of the updates that are coming out here in early September to late September. So if that's something that you want to let your end users know about it, that is going to be an option that they can do and make some changes there as they're drafting and sending information out from Outlook Mobile. Let's stay on the Outlook side of things and talk about this intelligent recap integration. So here in August, they're going to be adding this intelligent recap capability that we started off out in Teams, but now we're moving that so that you can see it not only in Teams if you go into the meeting and go into recap, but also see that as part of that calendar invite. So if you go back into Teams, you take a look into that as past invites, what you're going to do is you're going to actually see specifically a view recap, right? You're going to see that here. When you just click in, and by the way, this is all new Outlook, not the classic Outlook. So you see that here, as well as if you actually open up the Teams, or I should say the Outlook invite, then you're going to be able to see more details, right? So that you see that in there, and then you can click on it to view the recap. That'll take you into Teams, so you can see all the great juicy information from that particular meeting. And by the way, the full version intelligent recap, that is only a Teams premium capability. You can get meeting recap, but this is really focusing on that intelligent recap capability. So keep that in mind to let you notify your users, to let them know what's going on with this particular update. Let's move over to Excel for a minute. And I know that in the past we talked about this, but now it's actually coming to fruition. So general availability of Python in Excel. And this is the ability to be able to then throw Python formulas into an Excel spreadsheet without having an add-in for this. And this is where we've been able to do this in the past with add-ins. Now it's going to be out-of-the-box capability with Excel. For IT people, just understand that what's happening behind the scenes is they're actually running a secure container back there to be able to make sure that that doesn't interfere with any issues and it's secure. On top of that, not only they're going to have Excel for Windows, but they also have what's called a connected experience with Microsoft Office so that it can connect to the back end and run these secure capabilities. Additionally, they did say in this announcement that there is a add-on license if you want to have a premium capability, and that is more about that experience. It can actually do the calculations faster with that premium license versus just the regular Excel with that feature in it. So Let your end users know this is happening late August to late October. On the Teams front, there's a few things that are happening here that I want to point out. So the first one is meeting participants can choose a breakout room from a list. Up until now, basically it's all done through breakout room moderators or the organizer for that particular meeting. But coming here, September and October and into November, we're going to be able to allow, and it's a toggle that we can turn on inside the settings for breakout rooms, the ability to be able to have everybody self-select, right? So I want to go into a particular session, maybe this session about X, Y, and Z topic, this session about another topic, and so on and so forth. So people can then go into the breakout rooms that they want to be able to do. Organizers set this up and give them that capability to self-select. Teams getting another capability around searching, so expanded capability of searching, especially for the one-on-one chats. So starting here in August, we're going to be able to have this ability so I can expand the search. So I'm going to do a search inside a chat, but I want to know what other areas has this person talked in, right? Maybe it's a Teams channel, maybe it's another group chats that I have, all those pieces, and it's going to take that information and allow me to be able to expand that search to find about that person, right? So again, just another capability wrapped around being able to get around and find the information in Teams a little easier. So on the Teams town hall and webinar and events front, one of the things that I have a lot of customers that are asking about is if we put Q&A app into our events, how can I get those questions and answers? Well, unfortunately, up until now, we're not able to do that. You'd have to do it manually. But now starting in mid-August to early September, this is rolling out so that I can download the questions and answers specifically from the Q&A app into a CSV file. You're going to get a report that's going to have a lot of very good information as far as what's going on. So you'll notice the source, you'll notice the type, identity, timestamp, conversation ID, replies, so that you can then see that conversation that may have happened for that. This is a big one. Make sure anybody who's running your events, specifically town hall and webinar, knows about this feature coming out and plays around with it when it does come out. And then another one specifically around Teams is the ability to hide presenters, translators, and moderators. And specifically, this is for webinars, right? So if you're not familiar with webinars, this is the ability to have a registration page so that somebody can register for an event and then they'll get that meeting invite from there. Well, on that registration page, you'll have those who are presenting. But as far as the roles inside that event, you may want to not give everybody organizer rights or co-organizer rights, and you just want to give them presenter rights, but they're not presenting, right? So maybe they're moderating, or maybe they're just doing some logistical things behind the scenes in the meeting. So what you can do now is you can give them presenter rights, but not show them on that registration page, which is very important. So you would go into the actual presenter bios, and from there, you'll say hide from this site, and they won't be displayed on that registration page. So make sure this is another one. You'll want to make sure that your webinar people are getting this update and understanding how that works. Some quick mentions, some things to kind of talk about. Specifically, another one wrapped around Q&A is this voting and archiving questions. So the ability to be able to upvote a particular question that's in the Q&A, and then that goes to the top of the list, as well as being able to archive questions so that they're there for maybe for recurring meetings that you see that, but they're not being displayed in the Q&A app. That's happening here in September. Some bulk export for OneDrive Sync reports, so all that information can come out into maybe you're using a graph to be able to pull that information, and then you're going to use Azure Syntax or Synapse or Power BI to be able to really analyze that information so that you understand what's going on with your OneDrive data. Additionally, Clipchamp, we don't talk about Clipchamp much, but in Clipchamp, the ability to remove image background capabilities from that video and replace it or remove any distractions you have in that particular video. That's all coming here in Late July, early August for targeted, and then later on here in August for worldwide. We had four Power Automate, my apologies, four Power Automate pieces that came in. And about the same time, we have some that are available now and some that are coming here shortly. So we have the Power Automate Visual and Power BI report. So you can embed that visual inside the Power BI report. Additionally, undo and redo, right? So if you're doing Power Automate specifically, then you can undo and redo things within inside that Power Canvas. Additionally, being able to utilize, if I'm typing in an email, it'll go and pull that information from my information, my backend, and my Outlook in Teams. And then also having two property panes available simultaneously, which I think is a big deal. That's going to be happening here in September. And then as far as another quick mention, if you have iPad and you're using Teams from an iPad, now you're going to be able to plug in an external device, a USB device, into that and use that as part of joining into your Teams meeting. And that way you could have a setup, maybe you have an external camera, make sure it's plugged in. Now you can actually use that in your Teams meeting, as opposed to always having to use the built-in one inside the iPad. Some updated pieces that are happening, just to make sure you guys know, these are usually things that have moved, like their dates have physically moved, and you notice some of them are just slight moves, but some of these are some major moves that they're moving in 3-4 months down the road. So a couple ones I want to point out is the view, download, and delete Microsoft One transcript files. That's getting moved out. And that's the ability to be able to just take those files and then delete them after the fact. So you can delete all of them versus deleting individual ones from Outlook, or I should say from Teams specifically. This one, I have a lot of customers that are really, they want to be able to have that consent for transcription, right? So you can do a consent for recording. This one is just really about if this is going to be transcribed. And so that's getting delayed. That's going to be November as opposed to August. I should say November and December as opposed to August. Offline syncing for your email, and this is the new version of Outlook Client. That one is being moved, is going to be taking longer to get out. It was supposed to be August, and now it's going to finish up in here in November. And then being able to control the permission specifically for who's coming in for the lobby and who can admit into the lobby for a meeting. By default, presenters can. This is going to make a change, so I can say organizing co-organizers are the ones who can then admit into the lobby, and that got pushed. Additionally, if you're looking at, if you have a hybrid scenario and you're looking at bookable desks, which is a Microsoft Teams capability, right now you can manually change your location, but this update, which got pushed, is allowing a automatic update. So it'll actually automatic update saying your location is here in this building, as opposed to you having to change that manually. Some other things, little things like in Teams, in chat, your files are going to be named shared as opposed to files in there. So it's still the same, setup, but just the title change is going to happen. Integrate chat notifications with meetings. RSVP status is also getting delayed a little bit, and that is really the control of getting notified on your Teams chats. If you say no, I may not be going to that particular event. I don't want to go to that, but I still want to be able to follow what's going on from a chat perspective. Those types of scenarios. And then last one, and this one is really the ability to do bidirectional support for Teams live interpretation. So meetings, you can have an interpreter in that meeting. And what it allows the interpreter to do is they can have a translation of up to 2 languages simultaneous if they need to go back and forth between them. All right, and then finally, the admin actions. These haven't really changed much. In fact, I got rid of one that is already gotten Pi, but realistically, the big ones, the Teams Live event retirement, which was back out in September, that's getting pushed. We don't have a date on that, but just understand, start looking at Town Hall if that's something you're looking at. The retiring of Delve Web, and yes, still sitting out there. InfoPath 2013 client informed services, end of support as of July 2026. With that, I hope you guys are doing well, and we will see you next time.